Hi, it's Elizabeth from Team Epic Reads, and in today's episode of DIYA, we're making this adorable book clutch inspired by the Dorothy Must Die series by Danielle Paige. The second book in the series, The Wicked Will Rise, just came out, and we all know that Dorothy in the series has her really awesome shoes, but I think these books deserve a cool accessory too. All you need for this project is a basic sewing kit that just has an assortment of different colors of threads, needles, and some pins. Some scissors, of course. You're gonna need some fun buttons. I found these really cool sparkly red lips. I wanted to go with something a little bit sassy because of our character Dorothy, but you can really go with whatever you want. And then you're gonna need some pretty sturdy gingham fabric. I went with upholstery fabric because you want it to be kind of thick so that it protects your book. The first step is to cut out the piece of fabric that we're going to be working with. And one of the best parts about this project is that it's only one piece of fabric, so it's super simple. All I'm going to do is lay down my book so that I have a sense of the width, and I'm going to start folding the fabric over on top of it. I want to make sure that I have enough slack on all of these sides so that I can make enough room for the book to actually fit inside of the clutch. So what I'm going to do is line this up, and the best part about working with gingham is that you have boxes, so it makes it super simple to measure. I want at least an inch on the left side, the right side, and on top. And then I'm going to make my mark. I also want to make sure I have enough room for the flap. So I'm going to use my book again to guide me, and I'm just going to go to where I left my mark, and I'm going to have one more book length worth of fabric. Now it's time to cut. So I'm just going to cut right along this line, and again, we left some extra slack for those of you who are like me and also aren't really good at using scissors. Now that we cut out our fabric, let's just measure it real quick to make sure we have the right size. I'm just going to cover my book back up. With all this extra on the top, I'm going to fold the corners down so that I make a point, and then I'm going to fold this over the top. Perfect. So that's going to be the shape of our clutch. The first thing that we're going to sew is the sides of the clutch. So I'm going to fold the book over one more time, make sure to leave that 1 inch of slack, and I'm just going to make 2 little marks on the sides. I'm going to start my sewing about 1 square in from the end. Just going to go in right from the bottom. This is a simple running stitch, so it's just in and out, in and out. So now that we got to the end of our first side, I'm just going to close this off with a simple knot. And I'm just going to do a classic sewing knot here. My home ec teacher would be so proud of me. Okay, now that we've sewn up both sides, we're going to flip it inside out. I love this part. And I'm just going to test this out by putting my book inside to see how it fits. Snug as a bug. Now that we know that our book fits perfectly, we're going to get started on the flaps. So first, we're just going to fold the corners over so that we have a point on the top. And now we're going to use the pins that come inside of the sewing kit just to make sure that we hold these sides in place. Now that our pins are in place, we're going to get ready to do our next stitch. Now don't panic, but this stitch is just a little bit more complicated than the first time because these stitches are going to show just a little bit on the front. So because of that, I chose a light blue thread for this one so it matches the fabric a little bit better. We're going to be making this stitch along the base of the triangle here so that on the front of the clutch, you will see this just a little bit across the top of your clutch. Now we're going to be going box by box on the gingham so that the thread is blending into the pattern exactly. And I'm going to start by putting the needle through from the back. When I do this, I want to be making sure that I am checking the front with every single stitch to make sure that I'm making these as straight as possible. Okay, let's close this guy up. And you'll see that you can just barely see that stitch on the top because we did a really good job of making sure to keep it straight. So now we're going to sew on the button, and this is going to be our final stitches of the project. So congratulations, you made it this far. For this one, I'm going to use this red thread so that it matches the color of the button. And we are going to start from underneath, and we're just going to go from the very, very tip of the triangle and pull the thread through. Now, since we have this little loop on the bottom of the button, we're going to put the needle through that, and we're going to slide it down and get it placed exactly where we want it. So I'm going to hold this here really quickly, and then I'm going to make a couple of loops on both sides of that ring on the bottom of the button to secure it in place. Okay, we're all finished sewing on our button. Final touch, let's put our book inside. Can't wait to see it all together. All right, you're ready to go.